Welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen here. Linda Armstrong, our life coach, will be along in just a couple of minutes. Today is Friday, January the 4th, 2019. It's 4 p.m. New York time. That's 1 p.m. in Los Angeles and 9 p.m. in London. And if you're in Sydney, Australia, good morning. It's 8 a.m. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for LOA Today on our second podcast of the day. We really appreciate it. And whether you're listening to the live stream or the recording, we love every single one of you. And we really appreciate the fact that you are all our loyal listeners. And if you are listening to the live stream, feel free to punch in your questions onto the comments section on the LOA Today page, because we will be doing a Q&A today. It's going to be a big part of what we're doing. And as I said, Linda should be along any moment now. Carlos, wow, the guy is just kicking it. He is just kicking butt out there in Hollywood land. He has another audition today on another show. So that's why he can't be with us today. But I mean, if you're going to miss the podcast, you might as well miss it for a good reason, right? Because, I mean, that's what he's been dreaming about. He's been talking about it here on the show. It's what he's been trying to attract into his life. And lo and behold, it works. This stuff works, as he said. He texted me today. He said, this stuff really works, which is true. It does work. And isn't that so cool that it's working out for him? So we're hoping he gets the part, whatever the part is. I don't even know what show he's auditioning for. He may not even know. The way these things work, he often ends up kind of going blind to the set and finding out what it is he's auditioning for. But I guess he's got a good agent, because whoever that agent is getting him some auditions, and that's a good thing. Let's see, Melinda isn't here yet. So I also wanted to talk about a listener who is a very loyal listener who wrote in from Ecuador. And his name is Jose, and he sent an email basically asking for some help. So I figured while I'm waiting for Linda to come in here, actually I need to refresh this page over here so I can see what's going on with the comments. But while I'm waiting for Linda to come in, I could read you the email that he sent. Because, well, first of all, it'll just kind of grab at you, because everybody knows exactly what Jose is going through. Once you hear, you'll know exactly what I mean. But everybody's been through this, and it's tough stuff. It really is. And now I'm seeing the comments, and yes, people are saying, go Carlos, congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Those kinds of victories are wonderful. So, yeah, I'm glad. Of course, our listeners are supportive of him. That's wonderful. But let me read you Jose's email, because this one's kind of touching. He says, hi, guys. My name is Jose, and I'm from, I hope I don't pronounce this incorrectly, Guayaquil, Ecuador. I'm guessing that's the way to pronounce it. I listen to your podcast every morning from Spotify on the bus when I go to my job. That's great. I just learned about LOA last year and started to apply Abraham teaching into different aspects of my life. But after a year, my life feels kind of messy. I can feel my vibration is really low, and that is reflecting in different ways. I'm overweight, he says. I know I dress only in black or dark colors, thanks to my mood. My job isn't my dream job, but I did manifest it. But no, it feels monotonous, and I think it's, I'm not sure what word he was trying to type there. Made from my direct boss. Oh, I guess it's directions made from my direct boss. I'm starting to cut my motivation off. So my really big question would be, there are 1,000 techniques, teachings, etc., and all of them are actually really easy and doable to make. But how do I maintain that habit persistently? How do I avoid manifesting things that I don't want on a daily basis? He says, it's really frustrating knowing that I'm the reason I get to experience something, but I don't know how to actually maintain that momentum of high vibration. So, sorry for some of the typos in the message, but I'm writing this while keeping an eye that my boss doesn't see me. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be seen doing that. That's true. Thank you for your podcast from my heart, Jose. So, first of all, thank you, Jose, for sending that in, and we are going to set. But I hear Linda in the background. There she is. Hi there. How you doing?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We're getting the static noise again from you. Can you? Yeah. If you can.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, it's even worse actually.
Okay, and how about this? Just try this. How's it now?
Same thing still. Yeah, it's very. No, it's still staticky. It's very, very harsh sounding.
Okay. How about now?
Ah, that's better.
Okay, so that, and you can hear me well enough because it's just my computer speaker now.
Yeah, something about that mic just is not happy, I guess. But
I don't know.
No.
But we were good. We were good last week. No problem.
The energy is just so high here. That's what the problem is,
Yeah.
So anyway, I know you were kind of trying to connect in at the point where I was reading Jose's email. Did you catch the whole email?
I did. I saw it before I left where I was all day long until I got home. I did get a chance to read it.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Okay.
But I was, shuffling cards while you were reading it so I can get a card.
Ah, okay.
And I'll just read you what this card says. So it says, change in direction. The changes you're experiencing are divinely directed by your newborn willingness to open your heart and let our guidance. You are protected now and in the future. So follow your path to the happy outcomes you desire. So, as far as for Jose, I think your response, maybe you'll talk about your response that you sent to him.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfect. And you'll explain that. I'm not going to say I'm going to leave that to you.
Okay.
But really, I think what helps me the most is to realize that I'm not alone, that I have this connection to angels, guides, spirit, that when I stay in that high vibration, that connection comes through easily and it points me in the right directions. Right. And so when I am keeping my focus on those things I want to manifest and holding them like they already exist, well, if everything is energy, yep. And so if my desire can energy in some time and space in the universe, well, those angels and guides are out there somewhere in time and space too, right? And Absolutely. So they can work on your behalf. So for me, I find the more I hold a high vibration of the desire I want, and I let go of that mental chatter that wants to try to dictate what I could do, what I should do, what this one did, what that one did, when I keep all those voices out and just, even just through meditation, or if you don't meditate, just through sitting quietly, breathing, looking at a tree, going out in nature, like just kind of unplugging and just connecting to yourself, right. Allowing for some inspiration to come in as you raise your vibration, that's falling line. And you can use any number of those thousands of tools to help guide you towards that desire. Absolutely right. So for me, I know, because I've been doing this a long time, but even though I know these things, I can out very easily and kind of get in that mental, because I'm very to take action. So you have to feel my way with action is inspired, like is inspiration coming from spirit, right? Or is it my mind trying to dictate to me how I could be, how I'm not enough, how I need to do that? Right. So you need to just get good. I call it your inner vibometer.
Okay, I like that.
It's part of my course. One of the tips I talk about is, really activating that vibometer so you can feel your vibration. You may be thinking, oh, I'm going to manifest blah, 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 right? This is my goal. I'm using law of attraction to reach it. But all you're noticing is that it's not here yet. Right. And now if you can feel your body, because your body holds energy, if you can feel what's really vibrating in your body, that'll let you know what's happening, because your outer will always reflect what's happening on the inner. So if it's not happening how you like it, your job is only to go in and feel be honest. What am I really thinking about this? What am I really noticing? Like Walt's gonna talk about what he's talking about, noticing all the good in your life, right? I'm gonna leave that to you, okay? Because you don't always get to talk so much. At least when me and Carlos are on.
Well, actually, we're gonna go. I don't know if you caught that part, but Carlos has another audition today. So it's you and me today. But I mean, it's like he texted to me. This stuff really works.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit. Anyway. He is. And man, he is nailing it, one audition after another. I mean, that's great.
You know what? Let's just hook on to that vibe that he's got it going on, and the stuff that keeps coming up for him, right? Absolutely. And there's law of attraction again. The more you notice it, wow, this is working. The more you notice it, wow, this is working.
That's
right.
The
more you notice it, wow, this is working.
Yes.
Or I've got 1,000 techniques. I'm trying everything. It's just not happening. My boss is a jerk. I hate my job. But that's because you keep looking at that.
Right.
So I don't know if Jose was able to watch it now or in the future, but this is a message for Jose and for anybody else who feels that way. Notice the good aspects of your job.
Yes.
Your job, But your boss, the positive aspects. I've changed a lot of things by looking at the positive aspects.
Yes.
So of personalities, even of your job, even if you notice that, boy, my office is pretty cool. I like the color of the paint on the walls. You know,
I love it.
Find ways to appreciate where you are, because guess what? If you do manifest another new job, but you didn't clear out this old stuff, it's just going to follow you. Mm-hmm. And the same thing will occur again in this new job.
That's right.
So that's why you really want to check in. What am I really vibrating to? What is my body feeling? And I like to go into my heart. Okay, what does my heart feel like? And then you'll see, well, it feels very far away from feeling happy about this job. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Right? So then you have to honor that. Okay. So I'm really pretty much hating it here. But maybe I can find, just while I'm here, because I am transitioning to my next job, I'm going to find everything I can do and enjoy about this job, even if it's the coffee shop down the block, you know?
Hey, anything.
Like your drive coming in, anything.
Yeah.
Just let your attention go more. And this is what Walt was talking about. I'm going to give it over to you in a second, Walt.
Okay.
The things that you find that are pleasing, then you have to be your own things. Just things that you could, well, actually, everything you see is a reflection of what's going on within. So there's the beauty in the world. So you can bring that energy up more within yourself. So, Walt, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
Tell us about your response.
Yeah, well, when I wrote back to Jose, I said, first, thank you so much for being a loyal listener. And we appreciate all of our listeners, but we really love it when they write to us or contact us in some way, especially when it's something that, you know, they're asking for help on, but really about anything. Anytime that we hear from a listener, it's a wonderful thing. So I said we're truly blessed to have your attention and your support each day. Thank you for all that. And regarding your situation, I mentioned that I was going to share it with you and with Carlos and with Joel and Cindy, which I did. I said, I know exactly how you feel. It can seem overwhelming to deal with our realities, even though we know in theory how everything works. Law of attraction, quantum physics, that sort of thing. I'll suggest for you what has made the most difference for me. Your email speaks eloquently about what has not been working for you, about how miserably messy you feel. Put all that aside, including LOA theory, and see if you can talk about what is working for you. What's going right in your life? I said, start with the basics. Do you have food to eat? Do you have a place to sleep? Do you have clothing? Are there any people in your life who care about you and accept you as you are? Has anything ever gone right in your life? What exactly, in the greatest level of detail you can recall, has gone right? Because if you can write back about those things, or at least think about them for yourself, that's what's going to make the difference. When life seems hard, it's always because we give too much attention to the dark side of life, to the stuff we don't like and don't want. So the solution is to deliberately change the subject to what we focus on, to what's going right. I won't promise that this will provide an instantaneous fix for you, nor can I tell you how long it will take for things to turn around, because that ultimately depends upon how much time and attention you continue to give to what's going wrong in the days ahead, weeks ahead, as opposed to focusing on what's going right. But what I can promise you is this. If you focus more on what is going right than you have recently, on what you love and what's important to you from a positive perspective, things will get better, and that's an absolute guarantee. And then I said, please feel free to write again. We love hearing from listeners like you, which is true. All my best to you and those you love. So, yeah, that was my reply to him. And thank you for the validation. I appreciate it, Linda.
And you know what? I want to finish up this card because it took me off in a tangent, right?
That's all right.
Because it's talking about how you're always supported. You have support that you can tap into in spirit, right?
I love that part of the messaging. You give that message a lot, and I like that. So thank you for continuing to bring that in. That's good.
Right. So if he hasn't heard it that way before, you have support. I tell you what, Walt and I are holding that container, that space for you to step into making this shift, to be able to manifest easily. Because really, that's what's happening on the planet now. I mean, this last year was a tough year for, I can't say everyone, but a lot of people. The majority of people have been going through, because it was a time of purging so that this new stuff can come in. And so the planet's energy is shifting into a higher vibration, and our human bodies are trying to keep up. And so we experience these ups and downs as we're releasing and purging what doesn't serve us anymore. So last year was like a big year of that. But the good news is that this next year coming up truly is a year of new beginnings. Not just because it's a new year. It's a time of new beginnings, of manifesting faster, easier, manifesting through learning our lessons through the energy of joy rather than struggle. Because it's been slammed in our brain that you have to work hard to get ahead, or like the people we see on monuments, they overcame so much adversity and they rose above. But you know what? Hey, I'm going to get there through joy.
Yeah.
I'm done with having to struggle my way and learn my lessons. I want to learn my lessons in a fun way, in a joyful way, in a way that doesn't like squash me. Learn it. Oh, new lesson. Boom, back down again, like this yo-yo roller coaster of emotions, right? So that's why you want to always, no matter how low you might be in a vibration, you can always flip it because it's really just a choice. So I do have a course that gives all these different ways that you can do that and has meditations and stuff. But
how do they find that course, by the way?
What's that?
How do they find the course, by the way?
You know what? They can email me. I'll send them a link because I don't remember the link to this course. It's on a platform that holds courses. Okay. Usually you get it through signing up for my 7 tips on my website. So you go to my website and you can sign up for 7 tips to high vibrational living, high vibe living.
Okay.
That's an easy way. So you can always, and that's my last year was proving that to me, and that's why I built that course. I mentioned that on other shows. I mean, plus I also went through a lot of grieving because my sister had passed away, which really makes you think, what the heck is life all about?
Oh yeah, that knocks on your heels. Absolutely.
So I've been working with, even though nothing in my outer changed, I was able to continually flip my vibration internally, right? And then the things outside of you start to change. So it's been this experience that I think has really taught me even more of my power to actually manifest and be in that high energy, that vibration. That's why my website's lovemylife.coach, because, it's all about that high vibration of love. So anyway, let me finish this card because I think it might have a few things that Jose can take with him. Okay, so it says that this card signifies that you've had a change of heart that has altered the direction of your life in a positive way. Your old ways of living no longer interest you. For sure. When we find out about law of attraction, we're like, oh, hold on. I've been doing it the hard way, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And you find yourself avoiding friends and pastimes that previously attracted you. You desire a lifestyle and a career that will better fit your new interests and passions. The angels are guiding you through this time of transition. Okay, so you have that support. Even if you don't really believe it, pretend. Your imagination takes you everywhere.
Yeah.
And the more you see evidence of it, the more you start to build the belief like, wow, I actually really do have support in spirit. So the angels are guiding you through this time of transition. The law of attraction ensures that you'll manifest wonderful new opportunities and relationships. So, it has additional meaning. It says you're starting a new phase of your life. Yes. The birth of a new project is in the works. Yes. A new element of your life is a blessing, even if it doesn't make sense now. That's the thing. If you can kind of hold that, even in the darkest of stuff going on, that there's some purpose or it wouldn't exist in my life. There's something here that is going to actually help me to expand my consciousness into knowing more who I am and the power that comes with it.
Very good. Okay. By the way, there's 2 things I want to mention that people have commented in the comment section. First of all, Joanna said something really cool. She says she loves the podcast, but she's now getting behind on her other podcasts because she doesn't want to miss any of these. So thank you for that, Joanna. That's great. You made my day with that one. That was really good. And then Colleen was asking for a card. And Colleen, we're doing things a little bit differently now. We made an exception for Jose because he wrote in and was asking for some direct help. So we kind of made an exception. But in general, assuming we have the time to do it, we're going to do like one group card at the end, or at Linda's discretion, maybe more than one. But we're going to save it all at the end, and then it's going to be one card for everybody. Because am I understanding this correctly, Linda? The cards really do work for everybody.
Oh yeah. Even though that card, I was reading it for Jose, there's a lot more people that needed to hear that message. In fact, I'll tell you what, I had a meditation group this morning, and I had, there were 7 people were there today. And I let them all pick 2 cards each, and we'd do the readings for everybody.
Right.
Every card there spoke to everyone, me as well as everyone else there. There was a little bit we can take from each card, because, groups come together. Not by accident. It's energy. Like attracts like. So there was something common within everybody's reading And even the ones who are like, I'm not really sure what that is yet. And then one of the other girls goes, oh, you know what that is. I'll tell you. Blah, blah. And like, oh my God, that's exactly what that is.
That's what happens when you got your friends there. You can't get away with anything anymore.
Because they know, so that was
they know.
Kind of fun to experience. But yeah, the cards, there's something in it for everyone, or that's why that card was picked, even though if we think it's directed towards one single person. So when I'm picking here on a platform like this, it's definitely it's chosen for the collective.
Which seems kind of wild. I mean, because you've mentioned before, it even is appropriate for somebody who's listening to the podcast long after the recording is done.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost incredible that could actually work, but I guess it does.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Do you know why that works? Do you have any idea why?
Because it's energy, because like attracts like. There's something, you're going to be drawn to what's going to support you in some way.
Okay.
So, I'll give another example. So, in this meditation group, I have these meditations lined up, and I didn't even know which one. I knew which one was lined up for today, but I had never looked at it before, right? So I start out the session, and actually I was setting up, and I have this magic paper. If you've never heard of it, well, I guess if you want to know about it, you can put a message in somewhere, and I'll give you a link to buy it. But this is paper. You can write on it. So what you do is you put your desire on it. In present time, you already have this. This is in your future, right? You write it down. Okay, so for me, maybe I want to say I tripled my business this year, something like that.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I tripled my business. I have so many beautiful clients, blah, 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 whatever. Everybody's growing and learning and evolving and growing. So whatever that is, right? You write it down. Magic paper. You ground yourself, right? Hold this magic paper. You light it on fire and it goes, it just disappears. There's not even a trace of the paper left. It just ignites and disappears. Even if it feels like it's falling, it goes out before it ever could hit the ground. It's so much fun. So I was putting out crystals and stuff, and I saw that paper there, and I say always, but I don't always pull it out. But today something made me pull it out. I'm like, you know what? Let me just pull this paper out today, and I'll give everybody a sheet, and we can start a new year. We'll just do this. Well, that led me to this. I had this whole channeling thing come through about manifesting and, working with manifesting, like much of some of the stuff we talk about now, but it was just coming through in a particular way today. And then I'd go to do the meditation. The meditation was almost exactly everything I said.
I love it. That's great.
They came out of that meditation. They didn't want it to end, first of all, but I always record it so I can give them a recording. They can do it over and over again.
Right.
And they were like, oh my God, I didn't want it to end. It's like everything we were all talking about before we even started meditating. And it totally was. And the energy was really high in the room. So how'd that happen? It's just orchestrated. It's the energy. It's what wants to come through. So I had no intention of any of that, but that's how it played out.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And it played out because that's what everybody needed today.
Yeah.
And so that's what came through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that example. That's a good example. Kind of illustrates it.
Yeah.
It also illustrates how quickly source energy responds using the law of attraction. How quickly we get our answers back if we're open to them, if we aren't pushing them away in some way.
Right. So I'll even take that further. I didn't say, okay, what's my plan today? What am I going to do with them? Maybe I should I wasn't in my head at all. I'm just putting out crystals. I'm just, they're going to show up. There was no predetermined plan. I just know that they're coming and we're going to do whatever shows up. And that's what showed up because there was no resistance or no me trying to orchestrate it. I let spirit orchestrate it. So that's really, I guess, maybe a good example of not getting in the way, just allowing that flow.
By the way, Colleen, the one who asked for the card, is saying, well, that card that you read is actually for me. So you're right on the mark there as it is. Yeah. And we've had other people, Sarah is sharing all these icons, these emoticons showing how much she's loving the podcast. And Jeffrey says, Linda Armstrong always brings the magic. So you've got some fans going on here. This is good.
That's one of those energies I like working with.
Absolutely, yeah. So
I have a magic wand I got off of Etsy. It's just hanging out in my room. I don't use it, right? But it's a magic wand because that's that energy. You want to bring in that energy of magic and wonder to everything. Like you get back into that little child, that inner child mind. Mm-hmm. because it's experiences the inner child had that kind of hold you back, right? So you want to nurture that part of you, let it know you love it, you see it, you understand it, you honor it, let it come out. Even if you have to do it behind closed doors, just be silly. Let the silly out. Silly is very healing.
It reminds me of the first time I tried to do my first mirror exercise, because that's essentially what I was trying to do. I was trying to let that silly side, that playful side out. And it was tough, that first one. The first couple of days were really, really tough. But, that's why you do it in private. You don't let anybody else see. You close the door, close the windows. Nobody can actually see or hear what you're doing. And then you kind of stumble through the first few. And then it feels better after a while. You start to get used to it. At least that's what I found anyway. Which kind of surprised me. I was surprised how quickly I was able to adapt to it. I thought it was going to be like painful for the next 30 days, but it wasn't anything near that. It was like, it pretty much cleared up in terms of the embarrassment factor within like 2 days of trying it. Which, and the first one, I've said this before, but the first day lasted about 10 seconds. That's about all I could do. I couldn't handle any more than that. But the second day I did it for about 30 seconds, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger after that.
Because once you give yourself a little freedom, you can go with it. I mean, last week we talked about the running like Phoebe process, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just let your silly out, Run like that little child that doesn't have a single care in the world. It's just like, free.
And I was also realizing, because let's see, do I see any questions? No, I don't see any particular questions. Lots of loving comments, people sharing all kinds of cool stuff, but no questions. So I wanted to bring up a question, and I'm not really sure how to bring this one up, so I'll just kind of wing it, I guess. But I notice a lot how much, like I went to Reddit.com recently. Figured it would be interesting to take Reddit.com, which is usually full of lots of negative stuff, and maybe take some of the headlines and turn them into positives. Do some pivoting practice and so forth. But I went yesterday with the intention of doing that, and the stuff was so negative and so anger based. I had to turn it off. I had to just stop and just move away and get myself into a better place.
And guess what? They're just perpetuating it. They're just perpetuating
absolutely,
it.
Yeah.
That you say misery loves company. Yeah.
No kidding.
But that's not where I want to choose. I don't choose to hang out there. I know you're looking for ways to help people, and that's your motivation for going there.
Yeah, well, that's
but
definitely.
Most people are there.
I now know that's not the place to go. That's not a good place. But it does raise the question, and here's the question I'm trying to form. The closest I can get to it is, I want to be able to reach out to people, and I do that through the podcast, and I love doing that through the podcast. But I'm also trying to figure out different ways to kind of bring in a new angle and reach more people and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of in the doing mode, and we all know what it's about when it comes to doing as opposed to attracting. But nevertheless, I still find myself there. So I don't know. I don't even know what my question is. It's more like this is where I'm kind of swimming through the waters. I'm curious to know what your take is on it.
So are you questioning how much you're doing as opposed to being inspired in doing?
It's a good question.
Are you questioning?
I don't know what I'm questioning, and that's where I'm so confused.
Okay.
I know that I have a question. I just don't know. I can't put it into words. I don't know what it is.
So maybe what I'm getting from what you just said, or at least the way I heard it, was to me it's kind of like finding that space between, you want to grow your show. Yeah. And you don't know right now, this minute, how to do that, so you start getting into your head about things that I can do.
Yeah, good point.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Unless it feels heavy.
Right.
This is why I want you to look at the vibometer.
Yeah, the vibometer, yeah.
Or is it vibing low?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Feel it. So the easiest way I find to feel it is you just, as if you can go into your heart. Well, how does this feel? Well, it feels like right now I'm just trying to push it because I don't know what to do. Right? So then if you can just step away and say, you know what? What if I believe that some angel or some higher guidance of my own, my higher self, can drop the little bit of information I need into my head? Wouldn't that be cool? And then go on and do something else.
It's interesting that you say that, because that is what I did, and I have gotten a result already. And I'm not sure what even to make of it, but it's a significant shift that has happened. Usually over time, as we do the shows and so forth, I'll get requests to like the LOA Today page or friend requests and so forth. The last 24 hours, I have been inundated with friend requests. I think I've probably gotten 200 requests in the last 24 hours, which is
Wow.
like way beyond what I normally get. And I mean, I'm just kind of flabbergasted and not quite sure what to do other than to just keep answering the friend requests. But it's strange. It's a strange
All right.
thing.
So look, you want to attract a bigger audience. What are you attracting?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently. Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting it to come that way. Maybe that's why I'm kind of flabbergasted by it. But wow.
So maybe that's the fun of it too, to see how things can show up without you even really knowing. Like
that's true.
Because we limit ourselves because our mind is limited, right? But that energy is infinite.
Mm-hmm.
So our mind limits us to what we think is possible. Like I heard a psychic talking the other day how he says that flying cars are very near in our future. Okay, so we can kind of now look at it and say, well, yeah, I can see that could be possible. But like when we first saw it, say in, what was it, Back to the Future or something, we're like, that's cool, but that'll never happen. You know, like who would ever thought? I mean, electricity coming through the walls. I mean, that was like never. That was like magic. Like that was like almost wicked, right? To think that would. But then here it is. Because it's an infinite universe, and if there is a desire somewhere for something, and it is, in my mind, for the highest good, it'll find a way.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
I don't know about flying cars, but you know, I don't know if that's for our highest good.
There is more going on that way. I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting them pretty soon, because I mean, you and I have both seen the videos on YouTube and Facebook and so forth. But along the lines of what you mentioned, you very briefly alluded to the fact that when electricity was first being installed in homes, it was a big deal, and there was like a magical quality to it. And it made me realize there was actually a scene in the famous UK television series Downton Abbey, where Maggie Smith's character, she played the Dowager Countess, at one point was reacting to the fact that they were having electricity laid on in the castle. And she was wondering about, well, are we going to hire a servant to check out the vapors that come from having all this electricity plugged in?
Right.
And that was a real concern. I mean, that's where, what's his name, the author of the series, he got that from history, because people were really concerned that there were these magical vapors, or not magical, but these scary vapors were going to come out of the house because of all this electricity that was laid on. What were the vapors from? Nobody knew, but that was a big deal.
But you know what? There is this thing called EMF. That we want to kind of steer clear of a little bit. Like I usually have around my computer and different things. Right now, this is obsidian. It's a golden sheen obsidian in the shape of a heart. But I'll have like black tourmaline and stuff to counteract that EMF. But the way it was presented there was really because they were scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were terrified.
I mean, actually, if you think about where computers started out at, first computer was like what? As big as what? Do you know?
It filled
a huge
a room.
Yeah.
The first one was in the UK, and it filled a gigantic room. Yeah.
And now they can put so much information in the smallest of things. I mean, that's why totally telepathy is boom, going to be bigger for everybody. We all have telepathy, all of us. Mm-hmm. It's always operating, but we're not very aware of it, right? But it's going to be where we don't need the computer. I mean, that's what everything's moving towards, an instant manifestation. Like as the energy and the vibration of the planet raises and we raise with it, we're going to be in that place of instant manifestation.
Interesting you should mention that. No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
You can watch, I don't channel that information myself, but you can look on YouTube, look at videos on the New Earth, the ascension process, mm-hmm. The New Earth will probably take you to a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, you mentioned the idea of the vibration of the planet raising, and you added on as we raise our vibration along with it. And that's something that occurred to me a couple months back. I mentioned it then, and I want to bring it up now. You alluded to the fact that there's a lot of angst, a lot of fear. People are really upset about a lot of stuff. For a lot of people, 2018 was a tough year. Probably for a lot of those people, 2019 is going to continue to be a tough year for the same reason. What occurs to me is all the reports I'm getting, and you just reinforced it, is that the overall energy level of the planet is increasing. That there is a sort of a spiritual renaissance. I'm not sure what to call it, but there's spiritual growth going on.
I think that it's also able to be monitored. It's not just spiritual. Science can actually record it, register it. I don't know where you find that information, but you can Google that if it interests you. It's not just in our heads. It's actually happening.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
But where I was going with it is there are a lot of people who are not aware of all this stuff. And the ones who are not aware of it, we know as law of attraction practitioners that when you're not aware of how all this stuff works, you just attract by default constantly. And you get into, the traps of, I keep focusing on the wrong thing, like the people on Reddit. You just keep focusing on the wrong thing over and over again, so you get more and more of the wrong thing over and over again. And I'm wondering, is this like a sign that, yes, the energy level is raising, but yes, there's also going to be a significant proportion of the population that's going to have an even worse year this year because they don't know what's going on. They don't know how to handle it.
You know what? I think that as there are so many people who are awakening to this understanding, this knowing, and this way of being, that as more and more of us do that, we hold more light. So as we hold more light, this is light, this is the energy of everything. As that increases, it's contagious. Energy is contagious. So those people will we will be lifting those people up as well, even if they're not consciously aware of it, right? And, there's a lot on that too, where some people say, there's all these different dimensions, right? So some of us will raise to that fifth dimension, where manifesting is instant. And some of us are going to maybe stay in the third dimension, where it's still a struggle. But the more of us who hold this energy of this ascension, we actually make it possible for more people to wake up to it. And it's true, because I think I've mentioned many times with you, I don't, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but I don't limit anything I say. I'm like, listen, maybe you think I'm nuts. I don't care, because this is my truth and this is the energy I'm holding, because it's full of love and light.
Right, sure.
And so I feel like it can't do any wrong. If you can either buy into it, not buy into it, make up your own, find out your own thing. Everybody has to be true to themselves, right? But the more that we don't limit ourselves from sharing this light that wants to come through. And you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it, but you're doing it because you wouldn't be on here twice a day to help uplift people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're sharing that light. And you know what? Even the people who don't hook into the show, it's helping them. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
that's encouraging.
As we raise our vibration along with the vibration of everything else, others will raise above. But even so, and I don't know, and I don't care to learn about astrology, but the astrologists who are monitoring all of the different eclipses and the moons and the this and the that, they are all pointing to the same thing too, where this year is just a year of change. Things are going to start happening for people. People who have been trying to make something happen for so long are suddenly going to have it start to manifest. Right? You put in all the work, and let me tell you, we've done a ton of purging to where we're ready for this new stuff to drop in. So that's the thing. When you go through a lot of tough stuff, you're actually processing lower energies.
Talk about that word too, the word purging, because you used that word a couple times now. What do you mean by purging? What role is that playing? Oh, okay.
Letting go of. And it's not even a logical, you don't have to know like all the different beliefs and patterns and experiences that you're letting go of, because a lot of it is beyond your consciousness because it comes from other times.
That part my mind still, like you talk about that, and you've talked about that with me in the past, it still blows my mind. I still don't quite understand that one. But, yeah.
But if that were so, like you've lived many lives and you bring over some lessons you didn't complete in another life, and you got to learn it in this life, and so so as we go through our struggles, which are only happening so for our own expansion, if you can start to look at, change your mind to, instead of pity me, poor me, this really sucks, but what is this doing for me? how am I going to grow from this? Because I think I'm going to grow from this. And you know what? If I don't have to know. Like me right now, I don't have to know. I know that if I'm like got a stomach bug one day, I'm like, okay, I'm letting go of something. I don't care what it is. Thank you. Goodbye. You know, you're just purging. You're just letting go of stuff.
Right. That letting go process is really, really important too.
So like, you know, like dis-ease when people, you know, because everybody can heal themselves, but they don't all know it, right? Mm-hmm. But dis-ease is just when you don't pay attention to this energy, your energy field, all of this, because you're not just this part, what's in the body, you're much bigger than that. And so when you don't take care of these things that are happening in your energy field, which is a lot of times your mind will know it because it's like things that bring you down. When you don't look at it, take care of it, maybe get coaching, get mentoring to help you sort through that stuff so you can release it. Eventually it's going to wind up in the body. It's going to be in their cells. And then you got to go into even deeper work to get that out. But that's dis-ease. It's like you're not at ease, right? Mm. Because it'll manifest in sickness. So, but sickness, I mean, there are people who have miraculous healings. Why? Why that person, not the other person? Because you know what? They just, some part of them allowed themselves to do it or believed it was possible. Mm-hmm. Even if it wasn't the conscious part of them. You know, maybe it's their soul self comes in and says, okay, this has served its purpose. We can let it go now.
Yeah, you know? Sure. I think part of it is also being willing to recognize the fact that we are experiencing these wins, yeah. these victories. I ran into that with Louise, and I ran into that just the other day. We went in as part of her medical treatment that she's getting. We went in for an EKG with a cardiologist who is going to be like her cardiologist going forward. And in the mm-hmm. process of talking with him, we told him about our Christmas miracle where her heart restarted itself and started in sinus rhythm and so forth. And his comment was really interesting. He said, I don't want to rain on your parade. And then he proceeded to rain on our parade by saying, you know, it wasn't really a miracle. It was exactly what we expected was going to happen because we're applying these medicines, and that's the result that we get. You know, but if you want to think of it as a miracle, you can. And, you know, I was okay with that. That was fine.
I would have said, yeah, damn it. This is my miracle. You can't
it was
take
a miracle.
It away. Sorry.
Well, yeah, it was.
Try again.
But the other thing that it struck me with was he was so focused on, well, that's what we expected. Medicine should do this. That he lost track of the joy of it. He missed the fact that it was wonderful. It was wondrous what happened. And it just reminded me how important it is to celebrate the little victories, and this was actually more than a little victory, but the little victories that happen every step of the way. We were talking earlier with Jose. We were answering his email, talking to him about how important it is to focus on what's going right in your life. You can't know what's going right in your life if you don't notice the victories. It's just not possible to do. So
you know what?
What's
that?
What
I'm going to say to that?
What?
Okay, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the author. Dr. Wallach, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Okay.
What a title.
Do you know that?
No, I don't.
This book?
I do not. No, but it's a great title.
Right. So, he talks about how you can heal your body and you can heal yourself. He is a doctor. And he's developed all these different products and all this kind. I think it's longevity, I think is his product line. But, in that book, you know, the statistics are that most doctors are dead by 50. The statistics on doctors dying as opposed to other, you know, whatever, I don't even know, but he talks about it in his book, you know, so like, they just, see that kind of thing, I wouldn't even share it with a doctor because I know they're just going to say something that could trigger something within me to disbelieve what I know in my heart to be true. So I'm hoping Louise didn't lose that. I'm hoping
she didn't. Not at all. No, okay. Quite the opposite. In fact, she's even more determined than ever that she's healthy and everything's on the up and everything's improving and so forth. Interesting side note too. She was also brought in for a sonogram to check her liver and other internal organs. And I was watching the screen while the technician was doing the work. And at one point, I didn't even mention this to Louise. I didn't even want to. Kind of for the reason you were talking about. I didn't want to put it into her brain. But at one point, I saw the technician mark a section as a cyst. And I'm thinking, well, that's not really the kind of thing that is a good thing because that's going to be one more thing for a doctor to talk about. and try to bring us down, so to speak. So I didn't mention anything to Louise. Well, she got the call from her primary care physician about the results of that sonogram, and the results were everything's fine. I thought, well, isn't that interesting? The technician marked assist, and the doctor didn't respond to it. So I take that as a positive thing. Like, maybe that's one more sign of how doctor, for whatever I don't know what reasoning process they went through, but the doctor who was actually evaluating that, but for whatever reason they decided to say, it's just a cyst, no big deal. They're going to get, it'll grow away, it'll be fine, and that is a step forward as far as I'm concerned, for the very reason we're talking about.
Yeah. That brings up two things for me. First of all, if you've never seen Greg Braden, he has a video on YouTube, Cancer Cured in 3 Minutes. They show a sonogram, live sonogram and they have they show the sonogram. You see this woman's cancerous tumor, and she's got these men in the room chanting with her, for her, and in 3 minutes, you see that tumor disappear.
Really?
You gotta look it up. It's on YouTube, and it's called, I'm looking at it right now, Cancer Cured in 3 Minutes by Greg Braden.
I'll definitely check that out.
Anybody,
that's cool.
If you've never seen that, watch it.
Yeah.
And he explains it, he talks about it. And the other thing was, I had my cat. She's a diabetic, but somehow, for some reason, she was getting really sick. And this cat, so far, she's gone through like 6 of her lives. I don't know. She got down to like 5 pounds, and I think she vomited, and it smelled like waste, like it came out the wrong side, right?
Oh boy! So
I took her to the doctor. They did all these tests, and they come back with she's got a mass in her intestines, and her food can't pass through, and she needs surgery. I'm like, she's frail as anything. She's 5 pounds. There's no way I'm putting her through surgery.
Right. Because
that's going to kill her. And if that doesn't kill her during the surgery, she's going to have to try to recover from that stress to her body. I'm like, no, I'd rather her be happy if she's going to die than she's going to be happy in the process. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I left it. This one doctor really wanted me to do it. But then we went back in and had a second follow-up, and there was another doctor there. And I mentioned to her how, I wasn't going to do that because I'm just not going to put her through it. And she's like, oh, I totally agree with you. You wouldn't want to put her through because the test, it's not, they don't know for sure. It just looks like there's this blockage here.
Right. I
said, well, is it for sure? I'm like, well, this is what's showing up on the test. And, to play it safe, you want to we won't know till we open her up. That's what he said. I'm like, well, you're not opening her up.
Yeah, right.
That's all there is to it. My cat. And then we went on. And then this doctor came onto my side. Okay, what can we do? So we started giving her B12. And my son actually purchased, this is funny how this is coming together. Maybe somebody needs to hear this who has an animal going through something like this.
Could be.
But this Dr. Wallach from Dead Doctors Don't Lie, his product line is called Longevity. And they make this powder that you can put on your cat food, the dog food, and it really helps build them up because they get a lot of stuff that they don't get in the processed food that they're eating, right? So we started giving her that and the B12. She gained back all of her weight. Wow. She's fat and heavy again, happy as anything. And that was 2 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that means whatever the blockages had to have cleared because cats don't have a.
There was no block. That's just a misread on the test.
Yeah.
She just. Maybe her insulin levels were off, whatever it was. I also was giving her Reiki a lot too, but I think it was just all of it, just not buying into it and allowing, and I would talk to her, like, okay, if you're ready to go and this is your time to go, then that's okay. I'd like you to go in your sleep. I did that with one of my other animals. I'm like, when it's time for you to go, I'd like you to go in your sleep. And he died pretty unexpectedly and during his sleep. So, it's like, you can talk to your animals and you gotta allow people, even people, to decide how they want to go and what they want to do,
Yeah, anyone who thinks that animals don't understand human language doesn't understand animals. I don't know if they understand the language, but they certainly understand the vibration. Because, and they're really good at making clear what their message is too. They're very, very good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, it's not like you have to. I mean, occasionally you have to play a guessing game, but not too often. Joy likes to play guessing games. He likes to. Well, he has a certain pattern he wants us to go through. But when we go through that pattern, it's always very clear what he wants. Because usually it's a way. It's also a way for him to get some pets, and he knows that, so he doesn't want to lose that.
Right. Yeah, of course they're smart.
Absolutely, they're smart. They really are.
And my one dog, my son's dog. I have Shiloh Shepherds. They're huge. German Shepherds, but they have other things inbred with them. Mm. Well, now he's very smart. Now he's figured out how to open up doors. So I have to lock, like right now, the door to the room I'm in my office, it's locked so that he doesn't come in. Mm-hmm. Because, and he did it once and that was it. Mm-hmm. Now, I have to lock doors when I don't want him to go into a particular room. Or like when we're not home, all the doors have to be locked because they'll be like, going everywhere they're not supposed to. And one reason too is I have to keep them separate from my cats. So I have to, he learned how to get to her. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, not going to do that. Now I got to lock the door all the time. So, those little metal things that unlock doors, like, because they're not real locks, they're just regular, bedroom locks. I got to walk around with the little metal thing and turn it. Because he's so smart. He figured it out in one time. It was no fluke. I'm like, I hope he never does that again. Boom. Right away. Yeah.
My cat, same cat, Joy, had this, he has a very strong desire to be able to get through latched doors. And he has figured out how to do it at times. Including at times when the door we thought was latched and he would push it open. And we'd look at each other and say, how did he do that? And we were pretty sure it was latched. We tested it and everything, and somehow he got through anyway. And he's
telekinesis.
Something, I tell you. And you can actually see he has worked out how doorknobs work, and he hasn't figured out how to retract his claws enough to turn the doorknob, but he's close. He's really close to figuring that one out. Incredible.
Well, you know what? If I ever get another cat, I want to train. Have you ever seen those cats that are trained to go on the human toilet and flush?
Yeah. Yes.
I think I'll put some time into that.
It would be nice never to have to scoop a box before. Scoop a box again. That would be good. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got to where we are right now, but that was fun.
We were kind of wandering. It's fun. Yeah. By the way, thank you to everybody who is saying congratulations. I appreciate that. I know we have an advanced listenership because we haven't gotten as many questions anymore, so they've got this stuff figured out. They're just enjoying the ride at this point, which is cool. I like that. That's very good.
So ask us silly questions, Let's just, any topic.
Yeah.
Just start talking about it. But we don't have time for a full reading, but I will pull one card because we did say that we would do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's good.
So I'll pull one single card.
Okay.
We're running out of time.
What kind of deck is this now? Because you always have, you tell us what deck it is.
This is my latest favorite. It's, Animal Spirit. The Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed.
Okay.
All right, so this is the card that wants to come through. Let me just get it out. Make sure I get just one. So if I get two, then we have to read both. Okay, it's just one card.
Okay.
And let's see what it is. Oh, Chameleon Spirit. It's upside down.
Okay.
So it should be this way.
That's the way it would
act as if. But it's upside down. So we got to see why it's upside down.
Okay.
All right. Number 14. Here we go. Right. Act as if. All right. So in the upside down, it was just a protection message, whatever that means.
Okay.
It says being sensitive and having empathy for others can become a heavy burden if you don't practice self-care. Could it be you're feeling stressed because you've tuned in to challenging emotions that aren't even yours? Chameleon Spirit does not want you to adapt to these conditions by withdrawing or distracting yourself, hoping the feelings will just go away, or attempting to rescue another who may be having a pity party. You can be swallowed up in trying to manage it all. It's time to figure out where you end and where the rest of the world begins. Not all conditions are yours to match. You need to distinguish your own color from the rest of the world right now and take time to soothe your sensitive soul. Choose some activities that will restore your sense of being grounded and avoid people who revel in drama. take a break from social media too. Self-care is a time out that is the answer to this temporary dilemma. Okay, so...
Well, that ties in directly to what I brought up earlier about how I was looking at Reddit and so forth. I mean, it probably ties into to some other people too, but that was the first thing I thought of, is it was answering that one. Yeah, and that's right.
I also thought of, I wonder if this applies to Jose too, because sometimes people are very empathic and don't understand what that means, and how to manage that empathic side of you, because one way to know it is if you're feeling great and then you're somewhere and then next thing you know you feel horrible, you don't even know what happened. But if you think about it, like look around where you've been or the people you've been around and what they were feeling, and you realize, oh my God, I'm feeling their stuff. You know, it's not even my own. So that could happen a lot too, where you're taking on so much more that you can't even really see what is yours and what isn't. So this is talking about having those healthy boundaries and really knowing where you end and other things begin, like having a sense of your energy, of your field, how far that goes. And that's a good thing. Like someone told me that once too. Like when you start getting into a lower emotion, sometimes all you have to do is say, okay, is this mine or is this someone else's? And just feel what you get. You might just feel like, oh, this isn't mine. And then you can just let it go. So say, oh, Spirit, take that away. I don't need to hold that. Let's just send it back out to the universe. It can transform it back to pure love, because I rather pull in the light and release that other energy. So that happens a lot. I come across a lot of people who, when I start teaching them about how to, protect their own energy boundary, everything changes because they didn't realize how much they were absorbing from outside of themselves.
What's the best way to know that you are absorbing this stuff outside of yourself? I mean, obviously, if you're not feeling good, that's one clue. But I mean, are there other clues?
Well, usually, if you're not feeling good, something's dragging you down. Because otherwise, you could be pulling in good energy. We'll welcome that. It's like people like to be around people who are funny, right? Carlos,
True.
He's probably attracted to a bunch of people who just want to be in his space because he holds that high energy. So, empathy's great let's absorb the good stuff, but notice what takes you out of your own peace. So if you're not in your own peaceful place, and it's not because that, I just got fired or whatever it is, like different things that are totally yours, right?
Right.
It's sometimes you don't realize that, or if you look at it all and say, well, what's creating this? And you're like, okay, well, I did just have an argument with so-and-so. I'd be like, but that just feels bigger than that. Then you can think, okay, what else do I have going on? And maybe there's nothing else going on. And you're like, well, that's not that big of a deal. Okay, so whoever else's energy I'm holding on to, I choose now to let it go and just be in my own space, in my own energy, drop into your own heart and decide what you want to do about that thing that actually may have happened to you. My tip is always send it love. Love and forgiveness.
Sure. Yeah, that's always good.
Love and forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive the other. You don't need to hold on to these energies any longer than for you to get whatever the message was from it, right?
Absolutely. And we're down to our last minute. I want to make sure I also get one more advert in for you. Tell listeners who are interested first of all, remind them how to get onto that list, and second of all, how do they find out more about you and reach out to you in case they want to reach out for private coaching or something. Okay,
so just go to my website, lovemylife.coach. It's a .coach, not a .com. And just right on the home page, as you scroll down, you'll see where you can put your email address in to get the 7 tips. Like I give out these free 7 tips. They're a shorter version of the 7 tips that are in my course, which then gets elaborated on, because in the course I have healing sessions and meditations and brain entrainment meditations where you're going to reprogram in the good stuff that you want,
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there's Louise. Hi. I gotta say hi. She just popped in. Put her on the spot. So yeah.
Very good.
Right on the homepage, there's buttons all over the place if you want to see how to work with me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you have a great weekend, and talk to you again in a week from now.
Yeah, and I never said Happy New Year to
Happy New
everybody.
Year, that's right.
Well,
That's right. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
We wish that to everybody. Thank you very much, and we hope that you'll all join us next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.